Can you understand bird? Test your recognition of calls and songs. It might sound like all chirps to you, but birds convey different messages, even across species. Language has long been considered the exclusive provenance of humans. But in the animal kingdom, birds, not primates, communicate with the level of vocal complexity and variability closest to ours. Ornithologists have made progress in understanding the rich variety of ways in which birds converse, thanks in part to large and growing databases of bird calls such as one from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, which includes millions of recordings captured by citizen scientists. This summer the New York Times Birding Project is encouraging readers to try birding by ear. So here's a quick tour of the avian soundscape. Each bird species has its own distinct set of sounds. Consider the black-capped chickadee, which frequents the northern United States and southern Canada year-round. With only slight variation, black-capped chickadees from Vancouver to Virginia make this same vocalization. Still more amazing is what birds can express with specific sounds. Can you guess what this chickadee is trying to say? Feed me. Nest with me. Here's a call from white-headed woodpeckers. Can you guess what they are saying? Go away. This is mine. I'm hungry. Compared to bird calls, bird songs tend to be more complex with multiple notes and a clear pattern. And many songbirds learn them. They aren't born already knowing them. Ornithologists have called this process a form of cultural evolution. Birdsong has a lot of parallels to human language, said Karina Sanchez, an expert on avian communication at the University of New Hampshire. With citizen science recordings, researchers have found regional dialects within species and slight changes that, over years, have become dominant across populations. Here is a song from a great thrush, a bird common in the highlands of northwest South America. Can you guess what it is expressing? This area is mine. Oh no, a predator. I'm tired. Here's a song by a Baltimore oriole. Can you guess what the bird is saying? This is my spot. I'm hungry. Intruder alert. Here's another song, this one by long-tailed manakins, a tropical bird of Central America. Can you guess what the birds are? Let's gang up on that big bird. Get away from my babies. Some birds attract mates not with a species-specific song, but through a large repertoire, including sounds borrowed from other species. For example, the brown thrasher, which can be found from eastern North America to parts of southern Canada, has one of the largest repertoires in North America with over 1,000 songs. But avian mimicry goes beyond copying other birds. Some birds are known to imitate wallabies, humans and even machines. This clip has one set of sounds from a frog. The other is from a bird. Which one is the bird? The first one is the bird. The second one is the bird. One of these sounds is a car, and the other is a bird. Can you tell which one is the bird? You can learn more about the bird calls and songs around you by using the Cornell Lab of Ornithology's free Merlin Birded app, which the Times is encouraging people to use for its summer birding project. The New York Times will be hosting a day of live journalism at the Climate Forward event in New York City on Sept. 21. Find out more. This summer we are helping scientists track birds. Join in. A fuller picture of where birds are can help inform conservation and research efforts. This week, find your birding group. We are working this summer with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology to gather observations from readers about the birds around us. This data will help scientists understand better how birds are affected by forces like climate change and habitat loss. You can participate by signing up. Check back here for project updates and developments in the science of birds. Or get these in your inbox with the free Science Times newsletter, where you'll also get the latest science news. Jump to. There's a birding group for everyone. Try one out or tell us about one you belong to. Want to help feathered friends beat the heat? Get a bird bath. Here's why birding by ear is a living in the moment experience. Share your birding advice and questions. How birders of all stripes can find each other. This week's challenge for new birders. Try joining a group for an outing, or go birding with at least one new person. Let us know how it goes by commenting here. And if you are already part of a birding community, tell us about it. Did you meet friends or even your spouse through birding? What does it bring you? In a future dispatch, we'll share highlights from participants. In early 2020, as Black Lives Matter protests were taking place worldwide and the pandemic was beginning to unfold, Ali Al-Anipkun and Nadim Pereira founded Flock Together, a group for birders of color in Britain. I go to these remote towns where there's no people of color, there's no diversity. Mr. Al-Anipkun, 38, said. On your own, those looks you are getting feel like daggers. Numbers provided a sense of safety. How sketching birds changes the way you see them. Throughout the summer birding project, we have been encouraging new birders to try different ways to observe birds. Sketching is one way to deepen your observation skills. We asked a master illustrator, David Sibley, to share tips on how to draw, and we invited readers to share their attempts. Below is a selection of what you sent us, along with insights into how it changed your birding experience. Tell us in the comments, have you tried sketching? Has it changed the way you observe birds? Drawing birds has given me a new perspective on bird watching, allowing me to slow down and appreciate their features through each brush stroke. When you are up close and personal, you see common details that led to a better understanding of bird physiology. Plus, barn owls have the sweetest faces. Record temperatures, drought, smoky air and loss of habitat make it increasingly difficult for feathered and other winged creatures in urban and suburban areas to find the water they need. But there's a simple way that humans can help them out. Install a bird bath. A source of clean, fresh water can be one of the hardest things for birds to find, said Kim Ehrman, an environmental horticulturist and the founder of Eco-Beneficial, an ecological landscape design firm, who teaches at the New York Botanical Garden and Brooklyn Botanic Garden. Putting in bird baths is something that's easy for homeowners and even apartment dwellers and tenants of commercial spaces, she said. You are increasing the health of the birds by providing a resource that's really tough to find, said Ms. Ehrman, who lays out nature-friendly tips in her book The Pollinator Victory Garden. In the summer months, it's way more important than putting up birdseed. Name that tune, and the bird behind it. This week, we invite participants to try birding by ear. Practice identifying 5 species common to your area by their vocalizations. The sounded feature of the free Merlin Birded app can offer suggestions for which species are calling or singing around you. People who are deaf or hard of hearing may find Merlin's spectrograms helpful as visual representations of the sounds. Tell us if you are an experienced birder. Share tips for identifying birds from their sounds. And if you are trying this for the first time, let us know how it goes. Michael Herbin, 56, first got into birding in his 20s. He also got interested in Claire Strohmeyer, who happened to be a more experienced birder. On their third date, when she mentioned that she was going on a walk with the Audubon Society, Mr. Herbin knew he had met the woman for him. I just lost it, because she had been doing this her whole life, he said. That was our instant bond. I wasn't going to let her go after that. They were married in 1993, and birding became the activity they did together, eventually taking them to 45 countries to see new species. But just as Mr. Herbin's interest in birding, and in Ms. Strohmeyer, was blossoming, his vision began to deteriorate. It was nasty timing, he said. It used to really bother me to not see birds. I had to come to grips with that eventually. They're outsmarting us. Birds build nests from anti-bird spikes. Florian Heemstra, a biologist who studies how wild animals repurpose human materials, thought he had seen everything. In his research on the common coot, a water bird often found in Dutch canals, he had discovered nests containing windshield wipers, sunglasses, plastic carnations, condoms and envelopes used to package cocaine. So my definition of what is nesting material was already quite a broad one, said Mr. Heemstra, a doctoral student at the Naturalis Biodiversity Center in the Netherlands. Almost anything can become part of a bird nest. Still, he was not prepared for what he found when he went to investigate a strange nest that had been spotted outside a hospital in Antwerp, Belgium, in July 2021. Nestled near the top of a sugar maple tree was a Eurasian magpie nest that resembled a cyberpunk porcupine, with thin metal rods sticking out in every direction. I couldn't believe my eyes, he recalled. These are birds making a nest with anti-bird spikes. Drawing like David Sibley will change how you see birds. This week, for the New York Times Summer Birding Project, we invite birders to try their hand at drawing a bird. You can do this from life or from a photograph. Try to produce at least one sketch in the upcoming week. Share it with us by emailing birdsnetimes.com. You don't need to spend hours honing your illustration unless you want to. As the master illustrator David Sibley of the widely popular Sibley Field Guides describes in the interview below, the most